What's going on, everybody? This is Pastor Shay, aka Chaplain G, coming back at y'all with another word of encouragement for today. So check this out. I want to read y'all this story. It comes out of the book of 2 Kings. It's about this guy named Elisha, right? Now, Elisha had a mentor named Elijah. Elijah dies, and when he dies, he says, "You know what? I'm about to pass this ministry off to you, and you're gonna do double the works that I do." But the thing with Elijah and Elisha, their whole ministry was just glorifying God to a world that was just, sometimes it seemed just out of control. But they are working alongside the kings of Israel. They're working with the poor. They're working to bring people into a knowledge and faith in God. And I just want to read y'all this story because I think it has pretty cool implications, not only in the Old Testament, but in the New Testament and in our lives today. So check this out. This is 2 Kings chapter 4. I'm going to pick it up in verse 1. Y'all read with me. It says, "Now the wife of one of the sons of the prophets cried to Elisha, 'Your servant, my husband, is dead, and you know that your servant feared the Lord. But the creditor has come to take my 2 children to be his slaves.' And Elisha said to her, 'What shall I do for you? Tell me, what have you in the house?' And she said, 'Your servant has nothing in the house except a jar of oil.' Then he said, 'Go outside, borrow vessels from all your neighbors, empty vessels, and not too few. Then go in and shut the door behind yourself and your sons, and pour into all these vessels. And when one is full, set it aside.' So she went from him and shut the door behind herself and her sons. And she poured. As she poured, they brought the vessels to her. When the vessels were full, she said to her son, 'Bring me another vessel.' And he said to her, 'There is not another.' Then the oil stopped flowing. She came and told the man of God, and he said, 'Go, sell the oil and pay your debts, and you and your sons can live on the rest.'" So as we're looking at this story, right? This lady was married. She had a family. Everything was going great, and she lives in a culture that when a woman's husband dies, man, she's almost living a life of poverty at that point. Like it's almost a doomed life at that point. And so in the story, the husband dies. He has all these debts. The creditors come after the debts, and they say, "Since you can't pay your debts, your sons are going to have to work off this debt." And she goes to Elisha and she says, "Yo, I got this problem. My family believes in the Lord. Like we have faith in the Lord, but we got these actual real problems. My sons are getting ready to go into slavery." And Elisha says, "Yo, take the little bit you have and God is going to bless it." And what God does is he multiplies the oil in a way that she can go and sell the oil, pay off the debts, and her sons can continue to have this thriving business. Not only that, but have the oil for themselves to cook with, to have lights in the house and different things like that, right? So you see how God takes care of his people. Like when there's not a way, God makes a way. And he does it through Elisha. Fast forward through the New Testament. You've got Jesus sitting up on a mountain and he's preaching out to the crowds, and his disciples come to him. And they're like, "Yo, the people have been here all day. They don't have anything to eat." And, people start getting amped up when they get hangry. So Jesus says, "Yo, what do we have?" And they said, we got 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. I'm sorry, 5 fish and 2 loaves. And Jesus says, let's get it popping. Let's make it happen. But there's 5,000 people in the crowd. I'm sorry, 5,000 men in the crowd, let alone their families and their children, right? So there's a lot of people here. Jesus takes the meager little lunch, right? Blesses it, hands it back to his disciples and says, "Yo, pass it out." And the more they're passing it out, they actually have to get baskets to start passing out because there's more and more and more, so much so that each one of the disciples is able to take home their own basket of loaves and fish. And the 2 stories, if you notice, they hinge upon each other. So you've got Elisha that's telling the woman to go and get vessels to multiply the oil. And you've got Jesus, who by his own power, Elisha didn't do this under his own power. Elisha is relying on God to do the power. The New Testament comes along and says Jesus, under his own power, is multiplying this food for these over 5,000 people on this mountainside. And the two stories, they complement one another, because it's saying that Jesus is God come in the flesh, right? And here's why this is important to us today. When we have this faith in God, even though times get rough, man, and there's certain stuff where you come across faith and you're like, but man, I have this faith, but I still have all these physical needs. And God is not surprised by our physical needs. It's not like he's like, oh, I missed out on that. My bad, I forgot that you had that physical need. No, God is intimately involved with his people. He's providing for them in every single way. And we see that throughout the entire Bible. In the Old Testament, through Elisha. In the New Testament, through God in the flesh, Jesus. And continually in our lives, where God is providing for our physical needs. As we have faith in him, as our faith is growing, as we rely and trust on him, our physical needs are being met. Our spiritual needs are being met. Our relationships are being healed from the inside out. Things that once didn't glorify God in our lives are starting to glorify him once more. Like this is what it means to have God in our lives, improving our lives so that we can turn around and give glory right back to him. And that is my word of encouragement for you for today. I know things might seem bleak right now. I know the physical things in life start to pile up, right? But don't lose your faith in God. God has not turned his eye away from you. God knows exactly what's going on, the physical needs that you have in your life. And he's building our faith every time he answers one of our prayers. Keep your faith in God. He's listening to every single need you have, and he will answer for all those who love and trust in him. So that's my word of encouragement for you for today. Hopefully that hits you in a good way. If you know somebody that's going through something, send them this video. Tell them I love them. Tell them I'm praying for them. I love you and I'm praying for you. Hope all is going well. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. It's free to y'all, but it means a lot over here. And if you know anybody over on Locals, I'm getting ready to start posting up over on Locals too. In addition to, I'm over on Rumble, I'm here on YouTube, and I'm on Spotify. Check me out, tell folks what we're doing. Try to make this stuff easy to access so folks are encouraged by the word of God. But I love y'all, praying for you, and until next time, grace and peace.